welcome. Go ahead and send some comments there. Send me a like. Gonna start in a few minutes. Some beer. This shit is strong. It's got like 13%. Yeah. I can smell it. Holy shit, this beer is strong. I can smell the alcohol in it. So let's, we got 50-50 in the votes. Ooh, that's really good. Free Israel, go ahead. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, 13%. Holy shit. It doesn't taste like alcohol that much, though. It's very sweet. What does it say? It's a pastry stout. Zoom in. Pastry stout with graham cracker, vanilla, marshmallow. The hell is that? Marshmallow fluff, chocolate, and coffee. Damn, people don't want to hear about my Iraq war stories. All right. So the main thing I wanted to show was the our IFAKs. Oops, let me put this down. All right. So I mainly wanted to talk about our IFAKs that we had. Had this one right here. What's all lame? My stories from Iraq? They kind of are. Got some funny ones, though. I guess they're more comedy. But this is not the one that I used. The one that I actually used in Iraq, I got stolen. It was stolen out of my car. Oh, yeah, the people saying no. People are probably just joining in and then just clicking no. Let me redo the poll. Let me see, because I think I have it in my start poll. Stories from when I deployed to Iraq. There we go. Let's see if this will be a better one. Other than that, let's... my original IFAK that I had was stolen. So I actually came back from Iraq, got out of the army, and my IFAK, for whatever reason, was off the books. So I just kept it. Nobody ever asked me for it, and when I turned in my gear, it wasn't asked. So, yeah, it ended up getting stolen, and I wanted it replaced. Eventually, I got it replaced. So we have our IFAK, the Improved First Aid Kit, and I tried to get everything that I had in it. I'm missing the, they used to come with this syringe. Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you for watching. Double click the screen and it'll give me a like. I really appreciate it. And go ahead and check out my other videos. But the IFAKs used to come with this syringe. And it was a fucking huge syringe. You know, it was about this big. And it was for, if you got shot in the chest and you needed to decompress your lung or the lung cavity because you couldn't breathe, you would, you know, it's probably dangerous doing this with the knife. Let me get something else. Here we go. This should work. So your ribs are like this. You would find the third rib from the top. And it's called like the third intercostal space. And you would get this syringe and you would jam it in between your ribs into your lung. And you would just have this little thing sticking out from the top. And it would drop like the air that was in the lung cavity would come out, so it would allow you to breathe. So that's like the only thing I'm missing from this. Hey, welcome. Welcome from Ohio. I knew a couple people from Ohio. I knew some guys that were from Chillicothe, my roommate, and the guy that lived across from me, Chillicothe, Ohio. Ooh, fuck. I'm drinking this beer. 13% alcohol. It's fucking strong. very good though. All right, so let's go in the IFAK. This one, I have a tourniquet right here, but kept this one in the wrap just because, this is mainly for display. But still in the wrap. When you take it out of the wrap, it looks like this. Don't know where Dayton is. The only thing I know about Ohio is Chillicothe. I don't know how far away that is from you. But, you would want to get your tourniquet. Make sure your tourniquet was set up. You want it at least through one of these loops. And that way you could render self-aid. So if you were shot in the arm or in the thigh, you would just pull it out of your pouch, put it on your arm, pull it. Pull it on, start spinning. And you spin it until the bleed stops. And when it stops bleeding, turn it a couple more times. Wow, got 100% now on yes, who wants to tell stories from Iraq? Well, let me just finish going over the IFAK and then I'll tell you some stories about Iraq. Nothing crazy. It wasn't in any crazy firefights or anything like that. But just got some funny stuff. I was a combat arms. I was a tanker, so I wasn't just fucking some fobbit that lived in the fob and did nothing every day of the week. So let's open this up. This is where you would keep your tourniquet. Obviously, you want it out of the package if you're going to be using this. So you keep it in there. And open this up. All right, we got some tape, a fuck ton of it. Got an Israeli bandage. I wish I could open these up. I can open them, but I don't want to though. These are kind of expensive. And maybe I'll buy like, probably buy one just to go over it. So this shit's expired. Now, I'm not gonna suggest that you use expired medical equipment, but if it's sealed, chances are it's still sterile. And in the event that you're using one of these IFAKs, you're using one because you got shot and you need something, you a limb blew off, or you got like a serious injury, you need something now. So I'd probably use this in the event that something happened. So let me close that. No, I don't want to end the poll. And guys, if you got any questions, comments, go ahead and put them in the chat, and I'll answer them as best I can. If I'm boring, let me know I'm boring, or if you want to hear more about something else, go ahead and let me know. These Israeli bandages are pretty cool, though. They're kind of like a tourniquet, not in the sense that they apply a lot of pressure to your wound to help stop the bleeding. So I think if you're going to have a modern first aid kit, or like I just got shot kit, you're going to want an Israeli bandage in there. So the next thing you have in your IFAK, you're going to have your compressed gauze. And this is like real dense. And from what we were explained is you're going to take this and you're going to stuff your wound with it. So if you just got shot, you're going to open this up and you're just going to pack your wound. Fill that shit in. Let's put this back. So if you just joined in, join the Army 62 Whiskey. Is that I'm not familiar with all the terms. Is that combat medic? Yeah, IFAK guts. And you have your gloves. Hey, everybody watching, thank you for tuning in. Double tap the screen for a like. Check out my other videos and subscribe. I do a lot of gun stuff and starting to get in the military. So you get like 4 pairs of nitrile gloves. Combat medic. Everybody loves their combat medic. We had 2 of them. We had Doc Uzi. And what was the fuck's the other guy's name? Hadley. Oh man, Hadley was a fuck. I'll tell a funny story about Hadley in just a few minutes. Are you a ranger, gunslinger? because I heard that's pretty much the only people that are going out there right now are Rangers. What do I mean soon? Well, if you don't want to tell us, that's perfectly fine. Keep OPSEC. And this is called an NPA. This is to help you breathe in the event that your airway is blocked. So if you're unconscious and having a hard time breathing, now the official way is to well, there's other people besides Rangers that are going there too, going to Iraq, that are deploying there. The biggest thing I've heard is Rangers go there right now. They're still doing combat operations in Iraq. Like 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe like 8 weeks ago now, there's a story on there. The Rangers actually did a raid at a compound and they killed like 30 or 40 people. So best of luck. It's still a little dangerous out there, but at least we got the, we got the advantage. So anyway, you can't breathe. The official way to do this is there's supposed to be a little bottle of lube that comes in here. You lube this up and you shove it down your nose. So this will go down your nose and then it'll come out the back of your throat. And this is going to provide an airway for you to keep breathing. Small arms technician, sitting in a dark room working on guns all day, huh? That's the official way. You get the lube that comes with it. So the unofficial way, our medics would say they'll take this, shove it in their mouth, get it full of spit and slobber, and then they'll jam this down your nose in order to lube it up. And the other thing that I'm missing is just because they cost a lot, and mine was stolen when I got my IFAK stolen a couple years ago. Put this back. But I actually have some. Wrap this up. Let's put this back together. Oh yeah, tourniquets really fucking hurt. So put this in here. Ooh, can't forget this. Join the club, guys. I'm not ashamed. So the one thing that else is missing from this, but I actually have a couple of them for this IFAK, is the QuickClot. I'll show you that in just a moment. But I'll tell you what y'all call those camis, BDUs. No, they're this is UCP. It's called Universal Camouflage Pattern. We don't use it in the Army anymore. Right now they're using multicam, or what the Army now calls, it's I've been out of the Army a long time, but multicam is called OCP, Operational Camouflage Pattern. And they do that so they don't have to pay, yeah, Granny's couch. They do that so they don't have to pay multicam, which is the commercial company, any money for the pattern. Multicam is a little bit different than OCP. OCP does look different. To the untrained eye, you can't tell the difference, but if you can put them next to each other, you can tell the difference after a few minutes. So they're a little bit different. But this is ABU, or not ABU, but this is like the Air Force's pattern version of the Army UCP. I don't know what the Air Force calls it, but here's let me just show the one thing that was missing. It's QuickClot. So, Combat Gauze, QuickClot. This shit came out when I was in the Army. It was brand new. Everybody got some of these. We had like 3 or 4 of them. If you ever got shot, this is what you would pack in your wound. It's supposed to not cauterize your wound. And it's funny because this has an expiration date as well. These are probably really expired from 2021. Expired in 2021. However, the material that's in here is inert. It's like, from how I was explained, it's like clay. So this is, it's jammed inside your wound to help clot it. And it helps clot it because essentially you're putting in clay inside your wound. And it helps you not bleed, helps you not die. It's a big thing right here, X-ray detectable. Because the problem with this stuff when you're in combat is if you get some gauze like jammed inside your arms or inside your chest cavity, when you go to get x-rayed, they may not see this giant wad of gauze in your chest, and they seal you up, and then you get an infection and you die because there was a bunch of gauze just jammed inside your body. So they put a little strip in here. It's like a red strip. It's probably metallic or has something in there that can be detected by the x-ray. It lets them know that you have something foreign in your body, so the surgeons will remove it before they seal you up. So who was the dude? Who was the guy that was wanting to be a combat medic? So let's see. Let me go up. Scroll through the chat. Combat medic. Joy. Tikva. Are you still in here? Is Joy still in here? Got a funny story about the medic. Let me take a swig of my beer. So I got some beer in here. Hey guys, I see 161 of you are in here. Go ahead and give me a like. Double tap your screen. Drinking some 13% Mason Ale Works. Down with the thickness. This beer is strong as fuck. Okay, funny story about my combat medic. See, you're in here, Joy. No, not a silver bullet. So Hadley was our medic, and this dude, he was awesome. Like, just super friendly, but like a little bit of questionable, not sanitation. He wasn't dirty, but he just did things differently. So like, let me take a swig. The dude was not dirty at all. So I don't want to get that out there, especially since we're live and it's probably it is being recorded. But Doc Hadley, you were great. Miss you, guy. Hopefully you're doing good in life. So anyway, Doc Hadley didn't have shower shoes, so we would go in the shower and he was barefoot. It's kind of gross. When he shaved, he didn't have a shaving handle. He just had the little razor blade tip. So he would hold on to the little razor blade, the little, I don't know, I don't have one in here, but, it's about that big. So he would hold on to it like that, and he would, shave his face. A little strange. So anyway, one day, we're in Iraq, and I'm sick as fuck. Like, I don't know, vomiting. I got like the flu or some shit. And I go into his room, and I go like, hey, Doc, I'm sick as hell. You got anything for me? And he was asleep, I'm sorry to wake him up. And he goes, yeah, hold on. And he's in his sleeping bag, and he shoves his hands down into his sleeping bag, and I hear him rustling around and wiggling. Most of us like slept in our underwear, or some guys even slept naked in their sleeping bags. So he's rustling around, and his hand comes out of the sleeping bag, and he just has a handful, like 4 pills, like not even in the wrapper, not even in a bottle, just 4 loose pills. And he says, take this, go away. And I look at him, I go, what the fuck? All right. And I take them, they're like NyQuil or some shit. And then I go back, and he, the next morning I see him, I go, did you really just like pull pills out of your sleeping bag and give them to me? And he goes, yeah, they're sanitary though, it's fine. And I was like, but there's no box. Like, what did you do? And he goes, I have to keep all my narcotics like secure. And I was like, but you were like naked in your sleeping bag. Like, what do you, you just grabbed 4 pills. Like, come on, dude. And he was like, oh yeah. It's cool, dude. It's fine. And I was just like, all right. Yeah, man. But Doc Hadley was a really good medic. Loved the guy. He said a little odd, but good guy. Very smart. Knew what he was doing. He could take care of us. And speaking of another medic story, I'd gotten, towards the end of the deployment again, I ended up getting like an ingrown nail. I can't remember which hand it was on, but essentially I had a giant pea, like a giant green bubble, just poked out right here. Yeah, extra immunity. And I had like this giant ass green bubble, and it hurt like fucking hell. Like everything I touched, it would just like, what the fuck? And so we were at the end of our deployment, and everybody was leaving. Ooh. So our aid stations were closed. So we're driving around this base trying to find an aid station that'll help me. And another medic story for you. This is just how cruel medics and military doctors could be. So he comes up. My hand hurts like fucking hell. It's giant and green on my finger, a big green ball. And we finally find an aid station, and they're all ready to go home. They're, it's probably like 7 o'clock at night. Nobody's been injured, so there's no missions going on that night. So they're all gonna just go home and have like a skeleton staff. And they have one doctor and like 10 brand new combat medics there. They're fresh out of basic training and just got their first deployment. And so the doctor comes out and goes, "Oh, I was about to leave. Let me see your hand." And he sees it and he goes, "Holy shit! I have this big green ball right here. Holy shit. Yeah, I'll treat you right before I leave. Go ahead," and he tells the medic, soak his hand in hot Epsom salt and get him, sanitize him, get him all ready for treatment. And he goes, "Sure." And we go there, get all this prep shit done. I'm in there about 15 minutes and I'm waiting there. And then the doctor comes back, puts his gloves on and he goes, "Okay," he goes, "I'm going to do something for you." He goes, "And it's going to hurt really fucking bad." And he pulls out his scalpel and he gets my hand. I'm not going to use the scalpel. Here, let's get something. Here we go. There we go. This has got a flat edge. He holds my hand, he pulls the skin back, and it's fucking hurting. My hand's throbbing, I'm starting to shake. And he gets the scalpel. Remember, it's a little scalpel, just like that. Just like that. Shoves it under my nail and just slices. Cuts it open. And I'm like, "Oh fuck, oh fuck." And then he grabs my hand and he starts squeezing it. And all this green and fucking yellow shit starts just pouring out of my hand. And I'm like, "Oh my God, what the hell's he doing?" And, I'm like, this hand is like shaking. I'm like holding onto something shaking. And he's just massaging it. And he's telling all the combat medics who are there watching, "So you see, this is what you would do. You want to make an incision right here." And then he goes, "Now the pus has stopped coming out." He gets the scalpel again, same scalpel, and I have a little slice, it probably went like down like halfway to my nail. He gets the scalpel and not with the blade, but it was a flat, plastic scalpel. He gets the blade, the handle part of it, he flips it around, puts it underneath my nail, and he twists, and it just pops my nail up. And I'm like still going, "Ah, fuck." And, I'm just like shaking and I'm not like yelling or screaming, but I'm just like in shock. He squeezes it some more, has a couple medics come by and squeeze it. And then at the end of it, he goes, "I'm surprised you're still awake." And I'm like, What are you talking about? What do you mean? What?" He goes, "Most people would pass out from the amount of pain that you're going through right now." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "Normally," he goes, "I would numb people." He goes, "But," he goes, you're combat arms, right? You're like an infantryman?" I was like, "No, I'm a tanker." He goes, "I knew you could handle the pain. So yeah," he goes, "You're a tough guy." And he like patted me on the back and then walked away. And he told the medics, keep squeezing my hand until like it was like pouring blood. And I remember the one of the female medics that was there. She she goes, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Do you want to hold my hand?" And I'm like, "No, no, 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 I'm fine, I'm fine." Like I'm just like in shock, like everything is still shaking. I'm like holding onto the table, just like, "Oh my God, this is horrible. It hurts so bad." And the doctor leaves, and she goes, "Oh, here, I got something to help you." And she grabbed a handful of tampons and threw them at me. But I remember I was just like, "What the fuck?" And my medic Hadley was there, and he's just like, "Dude," he goes, "I have no idea why they didn't even like attempt to numb you." Like, he goes, "As soon as I saw him cut," he goes, "What the fuck is wrong with some of these doctors here?" Like, these doctors, like, he did not say that to a 19 kilo. "Oh, get the fuck out of here." He told me that. You weren't there, I was. But man, it was just fucking, it was so fucking painful. They bandaged my hand up and I ended up sitting out a mission for like 3 days because like my hand was still all swollen. And, he told me every day you need to take this out and squeeze it. He goes, and like pus did come out of it like another day or two. And he goes, and as soon as the pus starts coming out and you start seeing blood, he goes, go ahead and stop. So I had like, just like this hole, this cavity in my fucking finger. And man, it was just like, it fucking sucked. But yeah, those are some of the stories that just came out when I was talking about Hadley. Ooh. Chernobyl, what do you got against 19 kilos? No, I'm not tough. I'm just fucking, just stupid. He was probably just trying to say that to make me feel better. But yeah, so this is my IFAK from the Army, and this is the Air Force one. And these used to be really cheap. I had 2 of them, and let me end that poll. I got a lot of, wow. Camp Beering, I remember that one. I've been to Camp Beering before. That's in Kuwait, right? Carried around ankles. Oh, it was a long time ago. Yeah, it was, fuck, man, 10 years ago now. So they look about as normal as they can be. That was like the worst. That was my combat injury from Iraq. But yeah, these used to be super cheap. This is a jfak, a Joint First Aid Kit, U.S. Air Force. And it's a little bit different than the IFAK. IFAK was meant for 1 person. The jfak was meant, from what I was told by medics, this is supposed to be for like 2 or 3 people. These used to be super cheap. You used to be able to get these for like $40 with everything in it. So you'd get the 2 tourniquets. And then it comes with all this shit inside of it. You get some, yeah, let's start on this side. It's easier, so we don't have to take anything out. You get 2 packs of gloves. You get 2 combat gauzes right here. Yeah, civilians can buy these. I actually got this on eBay. These are old, so you can find them on eBay. This one, I bought it like a year ago, and for like $25, and it had everything in it. Like I said, these ones were like 40. They're going for over 100 now, just because of the amount of stuff that they have in them. But it comes with, like I said, combat gauzes, 2 pairs of gloves. You get compressed gauze, which is like the same one that I have in here. These are just for packing wounds. You get 2 of those. A roll of duct tape. And then here, you got another NPA, the nasal pharyngeal airway tube. And you get this one's for burns. No, the chest seal, I'm sorry. So if you get shot in the chest, pack this shit right on your chest. And then use the duct tape to tape it up. Close this up. On the other side, 2 eye patches, in case you get your eyes blown out. Put that in there. Little Sharpie, which I'll show you for the paperwork. Oh, I forgot that they had one of these. These are awesome. Seatbelt cutters. Sharp as fuck. These things are super fucking sharp. Everybody had one of these on their vest. Man, like, they always get lost, though. That's like the big negative. They added this little clip onto them. The original ones did not. So they would just slide right out. I mean, even that one, it's not that great. It just had a little bit of pressure and it comes right out. These things are like 20 or $30. So it sucked losing these. It has a window breaker and then the seatbelt cutter. Let me get some paper. I mean, paper's not the same thing as a seatbelt, but these things are super fucking sharp. No, they're not an easily accessible 9-line. Like I said, these ones were meant for combat medics. So a combat medic should know what all the 9-line stuff is. You know, I don't fucking remember. It's been many years, but a medic should know. You have your combat casualty card. I wonder if that has the 9-line stuff in it. Let's see. Probably does. Oh. Battle 9-line in there. Yeah, see, this is for the medic to fill out. And like I said, these ones are for this kit is mainly for a medic. It's not meant for Just your fucking everyday average Joe. So you should know what what the 9 line is before, if you're a medic. So Joy, you'll learn how to do a 9 line medevac call if you do decide to become a combat medic. So anyway, that's what the marker's for, to fill out all that stuff. Everybody watching, be sure to like my channel, like this stream. Put that down right here. Burn dressing. This is like a non-stick padding. So like, if you get burned, this is not going to stick to you. Can be used as a tourniquet, sling, sterile field, triangular bandage. And then we have 2 of our Israeli bandages. So these ones, like I said, these are the awesome ones. I have a couple of these, and I don't want to open them. Like I said, I think these ones are expired too. But the expiration date shouldn't really matter as long as they're still sealed. They're vacuum sealed, so this isn't going to... Technically, it's not going to go bad. And in the event that you are injured and that you need to use one of these, you're probably not going to really care if it's expired or not. You're going to want this covering your wound so that way you can, live. Because these things can be used kind of like, they're not like a tourniquet, but when you put them on a wound, you wrap your, say it's on your arm, you'd wrap it around your arm and it has a handle. And you put the cord through the handle and you yank on it and it makes it tight. You do one lap this way and then you go back the other way and you just keep looping it around itself. And it adds a bunch of pressure onto your wound to aid in stopping the bleeding. Put this down. So there we go. And like I said, these used to be cheap. If you can find them, it's a great little starter kit. I would suggest going on eBay. Thank you. I really appreciate you harassing me. I got some thick skin, so I'm just a fat veteran, so you can go ahead and join in, jump with that. Just some old guy. Back in my day. Nah, not that old. Not yet. I'm getting there, though. I'm glad that you felt I impressed you enough to cause you to harass me in the future. I look forward to it. All right. And like I said, you get 2 tourniquets with these. You could strap them on each side. Now, my biggest issue, what I've been seeing a lot of guys do, even back when I was in, they keep their tourniquets on the outside on their body. And I constantly hear, oh, the reason you do that is so that way you can, it's more readily accessible. You can, if it's on your vest, you can just pull it off and it's ready to go. You don't actually have to open this or, you don't have to, oh no, like that's so difficult to do that, and pull it out. There are, the biggest thing you have to worry about, especially when you're in climates like in Iraq and it's so fucking dry and sunny and dirty, is getting this shit like dry rotted, like sun rot. You have this on your vest. It's plastic. The whole thing is fucking plastic. It's gonna go bad. Tankers and Tories for being thick comes with your contract and ability. Somehow fail your PT tests. That is pretty right. We are pretty short and fat in tankers. Man, we had this guy, Saffles, good buddy of mine. Dude fit inside of a rucksack. It's so tiny, it's small as fuck. We also had a dude that was like 6'4", like even when he squatted, like his head was still sticking out of the tank. Favorite flavor crayon? Yeah, wrong branch guy. Are you from England? Favorite with a U. Yeah, Marines eat crayons. Somebody asked about an MRE earlier too. I like the cold weather MREs, not the regular ones. Cold weather MREs are the fucking shit. Just having some beer too, guys. So if I start slurring, this is exactly why. Oh, can you see that? 13%. I actually got an old bandage right here too. This is what they used to issue, you know, back in the 90s and early 2000s. You get one bandage. I don't really want to open this one either. Let's see, do I have any other gear? No, no other gear. Man, this stream is going to go kind of dead. Let me try and think of some stories. I got some stories. So we used to go out on these missions, and not trying to sound like I'm a badass or anything like that. We would go out with the Iraqi army, and we had a couple of SF guys with us, Special Forces. Oh, I'm glad that you like it in. Got PT in 5 hours. Fuck it, man. Just stay drinking. Keep drinking. Drink till morning. Sweat it all out. And we went out with a couple of Special Forces guys. We had a couple of Navy SEALs with us, but we were mainly there for observers, observation, and then like transport. So we would always go out with the Iraqi army. Iraqi army took the lead. And so we would go out with them every night, you know, for the last like 3 months they were there. Every night we would, you know, like at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, they would tell us, hey, we got a mission tonight. Everybody, you know, get ready, get your gear on, and stand by. So we'd all get dressed, you know, 8 o'clock at night, go put our body armor on, go wait by the trucks. And, you know, it'd be like 3 or 4 hours before we were given the go-ahead. All right, we're going out. Here's the objective. This is where we're going. We're going to be, you know, meet up with this team. And, you know, the Iraqis are going to do a house raid and raid this guy, this, you know, just to arrest them. And so we all go out every night. So we know what to expect. They tell us, you know. But anyway, while we're waiting there, you know, we get our gear on. We're all waiting by the trucks, and it's November, and it's cold as fuck. For Iraq, at least, it's probably like 40 degrees. You know, we're used to like 120, 130 degrees. So we go out there. Oh, where'd my little patch go? Getting distracted. Here we go. We go out there, and we are waiting. We're waiting. And then, you know, one of our sergeants comes around, and I'm going to use a fake name. I doubt this guy's going to listen, but somebody will remember the story. So our sergeant comes out, and he does a head count. He wants to know where everybody's at. You know, some guys are smoking, some guys are, you know, taking a piss. So he comes out and, you know, counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he goes, hey, and this is a fake name. He goes, hey, where the fuck is Johnson at? And we're like, where is Johnson? You know? And we look around, and he's not here. Holy shit. So we like, hey, we need to find this guy. You know, we're doing a head count. We need to find him. So we all start walking around, and we find him. He's sitting down next to the Humvee, at the rear tire. The exhaust, the Humvee's on, and the exhaust is just like boom, 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 and his face is right on, like just blowing exhaust right in his face, and we're like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? And our sergeant goes, Johnson, what the fuck are you doing? And the guy looks up, Johnson looks up at him and goes, it's warm right here, Sergeant. And our sergeant looks at him and just goes, you know what? You know what? Fuck it. Can't do any more harm. And he just walks away. And we ask her, we're like, what the fuck is your problem, man? Like, why? You're just like inhaling exhaust. He goes, it's warm down here, guys. This dude was stupid as shit. Great guy. Real funny dude. Like, not funny in the sense of like he was a comedian, but funny that he was like such a fucking idiot. He was so dumb. Like, the running joke with this guy was like, what if he's a Harvard professor and he's like doing an experiment and he's pretending to be dumb and he's like writing a thesis, you know, like he's trying to get his doctorate, and like, oh, like day 300 in the army. Today, I decided to shit my pants to see what the reaction was. And, you know, you just do crazy shit like that. But that dude, he pulled a fast one. And I told this on Reddit. If you guys, if anybody here is from Reddit, has seen me Same thing. I'm on Reddit, GunsForEveryone. He pulled a fast one. So this guy was a Johnson. He was like a PV2. He was an E2, a private, for the entire time he was in the Army for 4 fucking years. He never got promoted. And he never got promoted because he had like discipline problems. Not because like he wasn't like disrespectful, but like he wouldn't shave. Like he would come to work and he'd be like, "Why didn't you shave today?" And he'd be like, "I didn't know I had to shave today, Sergeant." And shit like that. But he also failed PT tests and he was overweight. So he could never get promoted because he had discipline problems. He was fat and he was like unfit. So he, damn, this beer's strong. Here, just sorry guys, it's at 13%. Anyway, he never passed, and he's decided, everyone knows he's not re-enlisting. He's getting out of the Army, and he gets out. He's probably 6 months from getting out, and we have a new commander, a new captain of the company, and he hears all the stories about me, or this guy, and he's like, "You know what? I want out. And the new CEO was like, "You know what? Fuck this guy. I'm gonna kick him out. I'm gonna, for failing to meet standards and height and weight and failing to meet PT standards, he's gonna get out." So I'm going to kick this guy out. I'm not going to let him get out. I'm going to kick him out. He's going to get, a general discharge, not an honorable. And so the guy, Johnson, he had like, I don't know how true it was, just from what I remember, he had special needs children. His wife was a little bit of special needs, if I remember correctly, if the stories were true. They were never said like, his wife is dumb. But like, they were like, yeah, like something's not right with his wife. Something wasn't right with him either. So he's about to get out, and the CO is going to kick him out. And he tells the CO, "Hey, listen, I was not a great soldier, but I want to be a good dad. I want to be a good husband. I got a job as an air traffic controller, down in Florida. When I was on leave, I interviewed. I passed all the tests, and I got selected. They're going to send me to air traffic controller school. And, but the only way that I can be an air traffic controller is if I get out and I have an honorable discharge. So please, don't kick me out. I'm getting out in 6 months. I'm not going to re-enlist. I'll be out of your hair. I'll do what I can, just don't don't kick me out." And they tell him, "Sure, you know what? I can do that. You're a real man. You want to take care of your family. You're doing what's best for them. All this shit." So everybody, hears about what happened, and everyone, jokes about him. "Hey, Johnson, what airport do you work at? I'm never gonna go to that airport because you work there." And ha ha ha. And it's the joke. We were just like, how the hell did this guy get a job, working at an airport as an air traffic controller? So 6 months go by, the dude gets out. Everybody's like, "Good luck with your new job, congrats, like you made it," and this and that. And then I see on Facebook, like another 6 months go by, and I see him on Facebook, and he posted one of those stupid ass, you guys remember those posts from Facebook? And they'd be like, "Hey everybody, this is Mark Zuckerberg. Everybody who shares this post is going to get $100,000 into their account. Just share my post." So I see him post that. And, I hadn't talked to the guy since, and I go, "Oh, this guy." I was like, "Dude, are you so stupid? Like, haha." And he was like, "It could be real." And I was like, "It's not real." And yes, it could be real. Like, in the event that it is real, I want to make sure that I get my $100,000. And I'm like, "Whatever, dude, you get your money. Haha. Like, you have a really great job anyway. What do you need? What are you going to do with the 100 grand? And then he goes, "Oh, I never told you. Haha." He goes, "I lied." And I'm like, what do you mean you lied?" He goes, "About the job. I never had that job." And I was like, "What the fuck?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I was lying." He goes, "I knew I was getting kicked out and I didn't want to get kicked out." And he told me, "So I told the CO that I had this awesome job lined up and I wanted to take care of my family, so he didn't kick me out." And he posts this. So he's telling me this, and I'm just like, are you shitting me? He goes, no. He goes, I'm going to college and I work over here, at this hardware store or something like that. Like a regular normal job. I don't work at the airport. I just made that up because I knew if I got a general discharge, it would not be as good for me in the long run. So I lied to him so that way I could get an honorable. And I'm just like, oh my God. And I go back to work the next day. He's out. He's a civilian. There's nothing that can happen to him. And I tell, my leadership, just as a joke, like he fucking pulled one on you guys. Like he was lying. And the CO, word gets up to CO, and the CO asked me what happened. And he's just like, that son of a bitch. Like he actually was smarter than he looked, like he was able to pull like this biggest scam off, man, in order to avoid being kicked out. And holy shit. Yeah, it's not career ending, but like in the end, you would, you want an honorable. You don't want a general, you know. At least, and he could show his service to his kids someday, hey, I was in the army, I went to Iraq, and, you know, I mean, that dude was a trip in Iraq, too. He fucking, oh man, I got so many stories about that guy. It was like fucking, I don't know how many of you guys have seen Mr. Bean, that fucking British guy. So, he, there's a scene in Mr. Bean, he puts a magazine in his pistol, and he pulls his pistol out for the bad guy. And he whips the pistol out, and the magazine just falls out. So we were in Iraq one day. We're doing our patrol, and we get word to dismount. We all dismount, and everybody, Johnson's helmet is all cockeyed, and he looks like sloppy shit, and we all kind of just like start fucking with them, like, oh, dude, like, come on, fix your fucking helmet, fix your rifle, and your boots are untied. And he's like, what? Oh, and he's holding his rifle, and I tell him something. He turns around too fast. He turns around, the magazine just falls out of his rifle, and everyone starts laughing. Our sergeants start cussing at him, like, what the fuck? He's like, oh, what do you mean? I don't know what's going on. They're like, your fucking magazine, but like, you don't even have a fucking round chamber. Like, what the fuck's going on? We're out in patrol. It was a fucking trip. He kind of chickened out too, and that's what I was saying. Like, he served with us. He went to Iraq. He did it like 80% of the way. So like I said, we were going out on these missions, and I think everybody got a little disappointed in him when he did this. But like about, I would say like month 10, month 11, right at the end of our deployment, he started to refuse to go out on mission. And he said that he just has a bad feeling. Oh, hold on a second. Oh, finished. And this dude has like like I said, you guys missed it. 13% alcohol. It's pretty good. I paid like $8 for this thing. Yeah, go ahead, Joseph. What's your question? So I'll answer your question. Go ahead and type it. But so this dude's like chickens out in Iraq. We're like 11 months in, and he just goes, I don't want to go out on missions anymore. And he tells our leadership, I don't want to go out. I refuse. I'm too scared. Something's going to happen to me. I'm worried that I'm going to die. And, something always happens at the very end of the deployment. And I don't want that thing to happen to me. And like, we all heard this. I did. Yeah. But it wasn't really combat. It was like, I deployed so late in Iraq that like all major combat had ended. So like there was pot shots, and IEDs. I'll get into a story about that too. But that was like that probably the only real time that I was scared in Iraq. I'll tell that story in a minute. So this guy Johnson says, I'm afraid, I don't want to go out. I'm afraid that I'm going to die or get really injured. Something always happens at the end of a deployment. And we tell him, so you're pretty much saying, fuck us. You don't want to go out because you're afraid something's going to happen to you, but you don't give a fuck about us. Like, we're a team. We're all working together. And you don't, like, he's going to make us one man short because he's scared. In the event that something happens and we need that guy, something else could happen to us, that it's, yeah, it was pretty fucked up. So, and, like I said, the dude, he's practically retarded. So we kind of just let him, everybody was disappointed in him, but it wasn't like it wasn't unexpected. Like if something like that were to happen, it would be him. He would be the one that shit happened to. So, yeah, it did look like chocolatey mix. So he, like as a punishment, because we would go out on these patrols, like I said, we would get up at 8 o'clock, or we'd get at like 8 p.m. We would get the call to go out, like, hey, it's time to go out, or get ready to go out, and then 11 o'clock midnight is when we would get the official word that we were going or we were not going that night. And if we were going, we would be out until like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and we would come back, and then sleep until like 8 or 9, and then, get on with the rest of our day. But as like a punishment, they were like, you don't just get to fucking, sit down and go to sleep, so they made him put on all his gear. They made him put on his gas mask, and he had to go to the TOC, which is the Tactical Operations Center. It's like where the company commander, or the company commander, battalion commander sits. And they made him stand there in full gear with his rifle, watching the computer screens. Tech 9. Oh, I don't have a Tech 9. And you can't, this is funny, I got a strike. You're not allowed to show firearms on live. I got a strike for it a couple weeks ago. I'll bring out some guns in a minute, though. I know it's getting a little bit late. I got to get going to bed, too. So everybody, double click. I only got 27 likes. Double click your screen. Make sure to give me a like if you enjoy these stories. So like I said, no, yeah, like it says you cannot handle them. So I don't know how to put it here. I mean, I guess I could just like cover this and then put it down, but I got a strike already for it. I don't want to get a second strike. I'll wait till the 90 days and then I'll try that. There was really only like one time, I'm not trying to sound like a badass, but like one time that I was truly scared when we were in Iraq. We'd been going out on patrol on this road, and in the middle of the highway, there was a crater, probably like 5 feet deep, 10 feet wide. Just this crater where, like an artillery round had landed or a rocket had landed at some point. And it was there for about 6 months. Every day we would drive by it, and you would go to this, go down the highway, see the crater, and we would go around it every day. Or not every day, probably like every 2 or 3 days. We would go down this route and drive around. And we get there, and probably about like 8 months in, we're going down the road. And middle of nowhere, it's just a highway in the middle of nowhere. One day, we start to approach it, and you could see this hole, maybe it was bigger than 10 feet. Maybe, it was pretty fucking huge. Like, we could see it from a couple hundred yards away. We knew where it was, and, we knew the path that we had to take. And, which I didn't think about it till now. But anyway, I'll get to that point. So we would pass this crater. We start approaching the crater, and we see that it's been filled in, completely filled in. And we're like, what the fuck? We stop, and we start to think about it. Like, they have a discussion, like, what's going on? And we say, that's like a clear sign. There's an IED right there. There is 100%, they buried an IED, and they're waiting for you to drive by it. They're going to blow it up, or they're going to wait for you to take the side path, which we'd been doing, for 6 months. And there's going to be an IED right there, and they're going to blow you up. So if you want to talk about guns, go ahead. Total Tech, let me know what you think about them. I'll have an adult conversation with you about it. We're telling stories about Iraq. So we see, we have a discussion. What are we going to do? Like, we have to go continue the mission. The route's over there. We're here. We have to get over there. So we decide, like, fuck, man, what are we going to do? And I'm looking around. I was a gunner back then, a turret gunner. I was a platoon sergeant's truck. I'm looking on my left, or I'm sorry. I guess, yeah, too much. I'm pointing to the right. So I was looking to the right, and in the distance, maybe 400 yards out, there's a building like this. There's this building, should be banned. I know, but Total Tech, why? I'll answer your question, or any questions you have or statements, I'll address it. But just don't say they should be banned. Like, why? Why do you think they should be banned? So there was this building, like 400 yards out. Go ahead and double tap YouTube blocking comments. I don't see him blocking anything. There was it wasn't a house, but it was like a warehouse, like a storage building, 2 stories, 3 stories tall, and 400 yards to my right. And I'm scanning my lanes while we're looking, and I go, holy shit, there's a guy on the roof dressed in all black. They should be banned. But why? What do you think? Why should they be banned? And the building, I call it in. I let my platoon sergeant know, and they, hey, 400 yards to our right, there's a guy on top of a building dressed in all black. And I'm watching him through the scope of the 240, and I'm looking. I'm like, this dude has like what looks like binoculars, and he has a cell phone. I can see him holding something in his right hand. In his left hand, he has it up to his eye. He's looking. People hurt people, not guns, people. And I tell my platoon sergeant, let me fucking shoot him. Let me shoot this guy. And he goes, you can't. He doesn't have a gun, and nothing's happened. And I'm like, this dude's gonna fucking blow us up. I see him. He's holding something. He had something in his right hand. He was like a black thing. And no, I always go ahead. I'm not gonna get mad at the troll. Go ahead. Guns hurt people. So people hurt people. No, statistics say that people hurt people all the time. And looking through the binoculars, he's holding something, and it comes down word that the safest bet is probably to drive over the filled-in crater versus going on the side roads, because the side roads are more than likely going to be mined with an IED, and because he wants us to stop, he wants us to be scared. And oh shit! Now we see that there's an IED in the middle of the road. Let's go the side route, and so we decide we're gonna drive over. And this is at a point in Iraq we had jammers on our vehicles, so they're radio jammers, they're signal jammers. So, and my platoon sergeant tells me, you can't shoot the guy until something happens. He goes, just keep an eye on him. So I'm in my turret. My hand's on the fucking joystick, and I'm like, I'm just following him. So, oh yeah, perfect example. Talking about IEDs. IEDs hurt people. So I'm keeping an eye on this guy. Platoon sergeant says, as soon as you hear an explosion, just fucking light this guy up. Light him up. And I know everyone's dick's getting hard right now. Oh, he's going to tell about shooting people. No, I didn't sorry to break the news. I didn't shoot him. And I'm watching him. And this dude's looking through his binoculars, and I see him pull the phone up to his face, pull it down, starts dialing numbers, pulls it up to his face, pulls it down, dialing numbers, pulling it up to his face, dialing it down. The dude was fucking trying to set up an IED, but our jammers blocked the signal from happening. So 100% this dude was trying to blow us up, but our jammers that we had in the Humvees, all 4 Humvees had jammers in them, blocked the signal. And I told him, I saw him. I'm watching this guy. He looks like he's dialing. I see him putting it down, looking at it. I can't see his fingers, but I see him putting it down, puts the binoculars back up, and then he puts the phone up to his ear. He's probably listening for it to ring. He wants it to ring. It's not working, and nothing happens. And we drive through. And that was probably like the closest I got to like fucking dying. And we were just like, holy shit, like, and I would tell people all the time, this dude was fucking trying to blow us up. Like, there was one guy in all black on a roof, the only building for like a mile, all around us, staring at us. They finally figured out that we drive through this area and they're trying to blow us up. Nah, it's a weak troll. If you're gonna troll, do something good, Total Tech. Come on. You can be better than that. You can at least, like, throw out some fake stats or something. Second time I could have shot somebody, we were chasing these dudes. And we go to this area. An IED just went off. We're the quick reaction force. We drive out, and they're like, hey, the IED was over here. It exploded. The Iraqi army got blown up. And we're walking. Excuse me. And the Iraqis start freaking out at me. Blah, 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 blah. In fucking Arabic. I don't know what they're saying. And our interpreter goes, oh, they're saying, stop. You just you're stepping on, you're hitting the wire. And I look down, and there's this fucking wire. Copper wire. Radio, stereo wire. Just strewn across, and I just hit it with my foot. And I'm like, what the fuck was that? It's my first time ever getting like close, like this close to like an IED. And so we're like, oh shit. And they tell me, don't move, take a step back. And then we follow it. And the right side, it led to the road where the IED had went off. So we were like, okay, this one is safe. But if we go to the other side of the wire, that's where the bad guys are. So, and it was probably like 200 yards. So we start walking, and we have our trucks following us, but there's a guy, following the wire saying, continue forward. We're following the wire. We're in the middle of somebody's field. And then we look maybe like 60 or 70 yards in front of us. There's this like little mud hut. And they use those, it was like a chicken coop. And we grab the wire, we pick it up, and the wire leads right to the chicken coop. So we're like, oh shit, we need to, this is where the guys are at. Like, they're going to be over here. We need to get ready to shoot them. There could be a shootout. So we all, the guys mount up in their trucks. We get in there, and we start to go towards this, like chicken coop type of building. It's small. It's probably like 4 feet tall, 5 feet wide by 5 foot wide. It's not a residence. And as we start, we're like 50, 60 yards, and we stop. One of the guys gets in the truck. As soon as we get in the truck, 2 guys take off sprinting from the fucking mud hut. And we go, oh shit. That's the guys of the detonators. Those are the guys that fucking blew us up, or blew up the Iraqis. So we start speeding after them. And because they're in a field, there's these things, they're called wadis, and they separate like rivers or creeks, like watering creeks that they use for all the fields. They jump across that, so we're like, oh fuck, we have to drive 500 yards that way before we get to the bridge to go over. And we go over there, and I have them in my sights, 240. I'm telling my sergeant, let me fucking shoot him. Let me shoot him. He goes, do they have any guns? Do they have any rifles? And I go, no. He goes, don't shoot. You can't shoot. And I have them, I'm looking at them, the sights, bouncing around. But I'm keeping them in my sights. And we run out there, and these dudes running, and they're running. And I'm just like, dude, let me shoot him. I can fucking get him. He's like, they don't have guns. You're going to get in trouble. You go to jail if you shoot him. And I'm like, oh, fuck, man. Oh, fuck. Like, you can't. Eventually we get up to this house, and they like ran into a neighbor's house, and we all jump out of our Humvees, and start walking. We don't want to you don't want to rush in. If you rush in, you're gonna, you could die. You don't know what to expect. So, we kind of like surround the house, And we all start to like walk in, you know, cover. And we find like an old man, an old woman, and then the two young guys that we were chasing. And they changed their clothes really quick. But they were covered in sweat. They were dirty. They were breathing all hard. And we were just kind of like, you two. And they were like, what are you talking about? We've been here. We were sleeping. We were sleeping. You know, they're covered in sweat. They've been breathing all hard. You know, or like, what the fuck? The fuck is wrong with these guys? And, you know, we wait there at the IA. We tell them what we saw. We tell them we went to the chicken coop. They took off running from the chicken coop. The IA tells us they went to the chicken coop and they found the detonator there. And we tell them these are the two guys and they arrest them and, you know, they go on their way. They already banned most guns, better than America for that anyways. Sure, yeah, go ahead. Canada's great. Go ahead and move there. Oh, man. I can't think of any other stories. This beer's got me. Come on, guys. See 88 of you watching or listening. Give me a like. Double tap your screen. Hold on. Let me see. 1 second. Here we go. Totally unrelated to medic equipment. Here, let's see. Hold on. For you new guys that are watching. Hold on 1 second. Let's see you guys get some interaction. Go ahead and double click. So, recently got this. I won it by accident. Well, I didn't win it. I got it by accident. It was on eBay. I put a bid on it for like $90, and I was really surprised that I actually got it. Totally legit. World War II M1 Garand bayonet. And then I've had this one for a really long time too. This is a reproduction bayonet. But reproduction actually did a pretty good job of working with it. So here's the repro. This one's pretty sharp. I think I never sharpened it, but it's from the factory. But this one is, let's see. It's not bad. It's more tearing, but it works. And here's the original one. This one's a lot stiffer, but totally original one. Union cutlery or Utica cutlery? I can't remember which one it is. Total Tech, I bet you love guns. You're just fucking with us, huh? Here's like the one big problem I found with it. This one is like bent like crazy. You guys see that? It tilts over to the right. So you can see it like has this bend. And then the original one. You can see this one is like straight. So this one's bent like crazy. You can just see it follow that line. You see towards the end it starts to tilt to the right. All right, so we got some people want to go over medical equipment again. And for you, everybody who's been watching since the beginning, let's go over it again really quick. How to get the original one? eBay. eBay, you can find all this shit on eBay. It's really cool. You know, it's funny because like when I got this bayonet, the reproduction one, it was like maybe 20 bucks. And the original ones were like 50. And I was like, man, I don't want to spend 50 bucks on a knife. Let me just get a reproduction. So I got that one. And, you know, as the years went by, I've had an M1 Garand since 2010. You know, as the years went by, this one jumped up to $40. It doubled in price, and this one doubled in price too, or tripled, like $150, $300. But if you find just like a normal, average, run-of-the-mill one, like I said, you can get them for like $100, $120. I got this one pretty lucky. It was $100, so I'm glad that I have one at least. I have bayonets for all my rifles. Yeah, maybe that's why it was so cheap. The tip's broken. Still do a good job of poking. Not very sharp either, which, you know, there's this whole debate on whether bayonets should be sharp. You know, people argue, oh, they're not cutting tools. They're not meant to be, you know, used as a field knife and blah, 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 blah. They should definitely be sharpened. You know, just helps with the cutting. You know, soldiers are going to use these for their unintended purpose. They're not going to always be using them to stick people with. They're going to be using them for, you know, opening boxes and shit. No, not for stabbing Charlie. They're meant for stabbing Jerry. We got the wrong war. All right, we're like 50-50. Man, I don't know. Let me try and think of some other stories that happened in Iraq. You know, it's like a big blur. I guess the heat's like a big one. Actually, one day, it was maybe June. Yeah, I guess it's a good little story. So, I know the guys that went through the invasion had a way harder time than we did, but we still went some pretty rough times. So our fob closed. It was a forward operating base. I was in Mahmudiya, and our fob closed. And they needed one company to stay back, which I was in Bravo company, and we stayed back. They told us that we needed to stay there for a month, so that way the Iraqi army would have plenty of time. Advice: it's hot as fuck. Drink water. That's probably it. You know, it's probably a lot better now than when I went there. I lived in a fucking tent when I went there. I lived in a tent and slept on a cot. Yeah, we had AC, but like, that's what I was saying. It's kind of like the story. We roughed it out there. We you know, like, we roughed it for the time. They closed the base down, and they tell us that we're gonna, you know, we have, you know, 30 days of food, 30 days of water, 30 days of this. And so the rest of the base leaves. It's just us there. And come to find out, the 30 days of food was 30 days of MREs. And we had cases of water, and the water was pre-rationed for us. So everybody was allowed 3 liters of water per day. And that was for drinking and cleaning. So, and the cleaning was your laundry and your showers. So we were, we would line up every day, get our ration of 3 liters a day. We get 2 MREs, and then our hot food that we had there for us, the medics had for us, was mainly rice, and these, we called them turkey pucks. They look like hockey pucks, but they were turkey. So it was like that big, that thick. So you'd get a slice of turkey, a scoop of rice, and that was like your lunch. And then for breakfast and dinner, you had MREs. So we ran out of the turkey pretty quick, and we started to eat MREs. And like I said, they would ration the MREs. We would get 2 per day, and we were just eating rice. So I'm talking a lot. And so we lived off that for a month, and it was pretty fucking horrible. Everybody lost, I'd say, a good amount of weight, you know, 15, 20 pounds. I remember taking a shower with my water. I took 2 showers because we had no water. You had to ration it. So you would, you know, you'd take a water bottle, wet a rag, and wipe yourself down. And but I saved my water, and I would save, you know, about 1 liter of water per day. And I, you know, stood inside of a mop bucket and just, you know, took 1 water bottle, poured it all over myself, just lathered up. Got another water bottle, rinsed myself off. And, you know, and I would leave the water bottles in the sun so that way they would get nice and hot. And this is, like I said, in the middle of summer. It's probably like June or July. And saved up the water after my shower, and then did my laundry in it. And I did laundry, I think, twice in that 1 month. You know, so I'd wear my uniform for like 5 or 6 days at a time. And yeah, it's pretty shitty. That was like a really bad month. You know, like I said, we were all like fucking filthy. We were all fucking tore up. But yeah, just the way life is. It's character building. So anybody got any questions about Iraq or these medical supplies, and answer them the best I can. Otherwise, I'm going to go to bed. It's really fucking late for me. If you haven't liked my stream, like the stream. Check out my channel. Like some of my videos. I do mostly gun stuff. I'm just starting to do gear. But other than that, you know, I appreciate everybody watching. You know, have a good night.